Welcome to The Explainer. We usually think about AI in business as this kind of crystal ball, right? Something that predicts the future. But what if it's becoming something way more powerful? Not just a tool for predicting what's coming, but a blueprint for actually creating the outcomes you want. Today, that's exactly what we're digging into. And this quote, it just nails the shift we're talking about. This is the core idea behind a whole new era of business analytics, where the goal isn't just to forecast your sales, but to actually architect the specific steps that will get you there. Okay, so every business has goals, right? You want to increase revenue, cut costs, the usual suspects. But the real game changer is having a data-driven roadmap that tells you precisely how to do it. That's the incredible promise of this new frontier in AI, turning your big ambitions into a clear, optimized plan of action. All right, so here's how we're going to break it down. First, we're going to climb what's called the analytics ladder to see how we even got to this point. Then, we'll pop the hood on the AI engine that makes it all run, see how it's making the leap from the lab to the boardroom, and wrap it all up with what might be the most crucial piece of the puzzle, where humans fit into all of this. So, before we can leap to the really cool, futuristic stuff, we gotta understand the basics. Think of it like climbing a ladder, where each rung gives you a better, more powerful view of what's going on in your business. When you boil it all down, business analytics is really about one simple thing: making smarter, evidence-based decisions. It's the big shift away from relying just on gut feelings and toward a world where data actually points the way forward. Okay, now this is the analytics ascendancy model, and it's really key to understanding this whole journey. Just look at the two axes here. As you go from left to right, you move from hindsight, looking back at what happened, to foresight, or what will happen. And as you go up, you're gaining more value and more intelligence. Every step up this ramp adds not just technical complexity, but real-world business impact. So, the very first rung on that ladder is what we call descriptive analytics. And honestly, it's basically your business's rearview mirror. It uses all your past data to create dashboards and reports that tell you what happened and why. It's absolutely essential for knowing where you've been. All right, let's take another step up to predictive analytics. This is kind of like your GPS telling you when you're going to arrive. It takes all that historical data, applies some machine learning, and makes a really educated guess about what's coming down the pike, like future trends, customer demand, or even when a piece of equipment might fail. Okay, so now let's climb all the way to the top of that ladder. This is where things get really transformative, where we stop just seeing the future and start actively creating it. And boom, here we are at the top, prescriptive analytics. This isn't just your GPS predicting traffic. No, this is the GPS actively telling you to take a different route to save time. It doesn't just tell you what's going to happen, it recommends the absolute best set of actions you can take to hit a specific goal. And this, right here, is where AI becomes a superstar. It's built to automate and optimize decisions that are just way too massive for our brains to handle. I mean, think about it. Planning delivery routes for a whole fleet of trucks, you've got traffic, fuel prices, delivery windows, driver schedules. Prescriptive analytics can weigh all of those things at once and spit out the best possible route in seconds. So you might be wondering, what's the actual engine behind all this? What lets a system look at millions of possibilities and say, yep, that's the best one? Well, it's a whole suite of powerful modern AI technologies all working together. This framework here, it basically lets us pop the hood and see what's going on inside. Over on the left, you've got your inputs and theories. Those get fed into these specific AI applications, things like reinforcement learning and fuzzy logic. And those applications are what power the prescriptive analytics that give businesses those recommended actions. Think of these AI applications as the specialized tools in the kit. Reinforcement learning is fantastic for making decisions in a sequence, computer vision can analyze images and video, and fuzzy logic is great for handling uncertainty. Put them together and they can power everything from making a factory floor more efficient to personalizing marketing campaigns for millions of people. So let's just zoom in on a couple of these. You've got reinforcement learning, which is all about trial and error, like an AI learning the absolute best fishing routes by just trying things out and seeing what works. And then you have fuzzy logic, which is perfect for a world that's not just black and white. It helps a company make smart decisions based on fuzzy ideas like high demand or an unstable market. And look, this stuff isn't just theory anymore. It's happening right now. We're seeing this massive acceleration as these tools jump from the research lab straight into the corporate boardroom.
Yeah, AI is officially mainstream, no question about it. A recent McKinsey Global survey found that a whopping 78% of organizations are now using AI in at least one part of their business. I mean, think about that. Just back in 2022, that number was only 55%. That is a huge leap in a very short amount of time.
And when you zoom in on generative AI, the tech behind tools like ChatGPT, the growth is just mind-blowing. Organizational adoption has more than doubled in less than 2 years, rocketing from 33% to 71% just recently. And this isn't just for show, it's creating real bottom line results. That same survey shows companies are seeing major cost savings in places like HR and service operations, and big revenue boosts in areas like supply chain management and marketing. But okay, moving this fast, it's not all smooth sailing. It creates brand new risks around accuracy, security, and who owns what. Unlocking the true power of AI isn't just about buying the tech. It's about building a really smart, human-centric strategy to manage it. So on one hand, the power here is just immense. Optimization, efficiency, you name it. But we have to balance that promise against some very real risks. Things like inaccuracy. You've probably heard of AI hallucinations. That's actually the biggest problem people are running into, followed by serious concerns like cybersecurity and intellectual property theft. And this right here is a perfect real-world example of those risks. You might have heard about the Samsung snafu. Employees were using ChatGPT to help with their work, and they accidentally leaked super confidential source code. That incredibly sensitive information then just became part of the chatbot's database. It's a huge cautionary tale about using these tools without the right guardrails. And that really brings us to the core of it all. True success with AI isn't about just buying a new tool and plugging it in. The single biggest driver of value is fundamentally redesigning how we work with this technology. It's about creating a genuine partnership between people and AI. Which leaves us with a really fascinating question about our own future, right? As AI gets better and better at telling us the best move to make, our job starts to change. Maybe our value isn't so much in finding the answer anymore, but in asking the right questions, setting the right goals, and using our uniquely human intuition to guide these incredibly powerful new partners.